Okay, this is Derek. Hello. And here's another video about some records that I bought. After working 60 hours this week, I left work on Friday night and went to Goodwill near where I work and ended up coming home with, I believe, 25 records for $1 each, which is a pretty decent haul for any Goodwill. And I've had pretty okay luck with this particular Goodwill in terms of finding records that aren't complete junk and that I would actually want to listen to. I'll try to keep this as short as I can for the size of the pile of records that are sitting in my lap. Your interest level in which will obviously vary because this is quite a selection, kind of. I'll show you the most interesting ones first, at least, and then we'll just proceed. Um, the best thing that I found, although it is probably in the worst condition of any of the 25 things that I brought home, was by far my favorite find of this particular trip, and it is this. That is the 12-inch single of Frank Zappa's Valley Girl, with his daughter Moon there, obviously, with You Are What You Is on the B side. If I recall correctly, the only real difference between the album version and the single version of Valley Girl is the single version has a slightly extended drum outro, which fades out, whereas the album version, it just segues into the next song. I don't know if in any way You Are What You is different on the single. This is not in great condition. It's fairly scratched, although not brutally so, but it obviously wasn't taken care of. Um, but when do you ever see like any Frank Zappa thing for $1? And I didn't happen to own this already, although obviously I have the songs that are on it in various formats elsewhere. But this is a pretty awesome thing to find in the Goodwill in the town where I found it. And for $1, I might only play it once, and it might skip a lot. I don't know, but it's definitely a good thing to have for $1. Um, the next thing, which I actually forgot after buying 24 records and going back outside to my car and calling my friend Nick to tell him about some of these records that I found, I realized I left this one behind. And so while I was talking to him on the phone, I walked back into the store and like 6 minutes before they closed and picked this up and paid $1.07 for it. And it's this Pearl Jam 45 with Angel on the A side and a live track called Ramblings on the B side. I don't know anything about this. I don't remember Pearl Jam releasing a single to radio called Angel in 1994. I don't know anything about this. It does say demonstration, not for sale on the back cover and also on the label. I don't know if it was just some weird promo item or if it was I don't think it was like a fan club release. I really don't know. But I paid $1.07 for it, the 7 cents being the tax, and looked it up on eBay when I got home. And there are about 4 copies of it for sale with buy it now prices ranging from $46 up to $100. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how valuable this thing really is, but somebody might be willing to pay those amounts of money for it. I don't know. I don't really plan on selling it, although I'm not a huge fan of Pearl Jam, but it was $1 and it must be kind of rare, so I'll just keep it for whatever. And also because I've never really sold records on eBay anyway. I don't really have expertise and experience in that field, so I'm not dying to sell this thing. However, if anybody wants it, if you want to offer me an okay price for it, I only paid $1. If you want it that bad, we'll see what we can do. I don't know, leave a comment or something. And, okay, so now let's trudge through 23 more records of various vintages, mostly from the 60s and 70s, which turned out to be, many of them, pretty old and in, really good condition considering their age and that they came from a Goodwill. So let's go. Okay. First album by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, a band I don't have any particular interest in. This is on Columbia. It's got a 360 sound label, so I can only assume it's probably a first pressing or very early. The label is definitely from the 60s. I'm not a thorough expert in Columbia labels of the 60s, but judging from other records I have from this period and the typeface on it and things like that, I can guess it's from the 60s, and obviously that was $1. This record by Alan Sherman, which I don't even know if it's really strictly a comedy record or what it is, but it's on the Gold Warner Brothers label. It's a stereo pressing, and it's in really good condition, considering, like I said, where it came from and the price and etc. Who knows if and when I'll ever get around to listening to it, or if I'll enjoy it at all, but it might be the kind of thing that's like worth reselling. The inner sleeve is vintage and very crisp. It's not tattered, and the record is just free of scratches. So there we go. There's that. Okay. Isaac Hayes, Black Moses. This does not have the famous cross-shaped fold-out cover. I think this sleeve, which has 2 records in their own sleeves stuffed inside of it, I think this would have gone inside the big fold-out cover. But whatever, it only cost me $1, and I don't know how interested I really am in it, or how much I'll enjoy listening to it. But it was only $1. Obviously, I don't need to keep saying that. They were all $1. But sometimes I will say that just to emphasize, look at this thing, $1! Can you believe this? Okay, so there's Black Moses, whatever. In the shrink wrap, but not sealed, it has been opened, is this soundtrack record from Woody Allen's Manhattan with a recording of Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin on the A side and a bunch of other pieces on the B side. I've never seen the movie Manhattan by Woody Allen. I don't know if I've ever seen any Woody Allen movies, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know if musically this is really of any interest to me, but it was $1. It's on Columbia Masterworks. I guess I have no idea when this came out. 1979. Okay. And it's in what I would call near mint condition. There's really no scratches on the record. It's not even very dirty or anything. And there's that thing. This lovely lass is, well, I don't know who she is, but she was a cover model for Mongo Santa Maria's Greatest Hits. I don't know anything about what this is. I guess it might be some sort of jazz, funk, Latin rhythm sort of thing. I don't really know. It's got songs such as Watermelon Man, isn't that by Herbie Hancock, I think? Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and Green Onions, and La Bamba. But obviously a very alluring cover, still in the shrink, as you can see. This is on Columbia. I don't know when it came out, but let's look at the label and determine. 70s, sometime in the 70s. I haven't researched any of these. It has a $2.99 original price tag on the shrink, although I have no idea what store this would have come from. It just says records on it. Okay. Groovin' by the Young Rascals from 1960-something? 67. This is on Atlantic. It has to be at first pressing, judging from the look of the label. I'll let you have a peek at it. This is a little scratched up, but not real bad. And considering it's from 67, like, who has records that old and actually took care of them that wasn't a record collector? Somebody wrote their name on this sleeve right here. I think it says Becky McRae. And a couple of these records have the same name on them, so they obviously came from the same person. This still has like a nice gloss on this cover. The record has a nice gloss to it. Musically, I don't know how interesting I'll really find this, but whatever. God, we're at 10 minutes, and we still have a lot of records to go through. I'm trying to make this fast. I know you're not interested, but some of these are interesting. We'll just keep going. Okay, here's a record I'll probably only listen to once. It is Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie with the famous 18.5-minute title track on the A side and a bunch of other songs on the B side, which may or may not be any good. A bunch of liner notes on the back. This was on Reprise. Yes, it was. It also has Rebecca McRae's name written on the cover. And again, given its age, the record has a nice gloss to it. Very few, if any, scratches. It looks pretty nice. This would be resellable on eBay, maybe in a store, whatever. I don't know. Again, I don't really sell shit. A friend of mine sells shit and might know what to do with this thing. I think this record is from, God, I don't even know. And who cares? Whatever, I'm not that interested. This record, in Shrink, which is rapidly falling off, is called When You're in Love, The Whole World is Jewish. I believe this was a musical or a play of some sort, and this is some kind of cast recording from it. I don't recognize any of these actors or actresses' names on this thing. It's a reissue on MCA, which, judging from the typeface on the label, has to be from the early 80s. Yeah, early to mid 80s, I would say. Sometimes I just buy records of like musicals and stuff. I'm not like super into them, but sometimes they're kind of interesting, and I don't know. By the way, there was like 2 crates crammed full of records at Goodwill, and in addition to an astonishing number of Bette Midler albums, there was a lot of like Jewish themed records with Hebrew text on the cover and different musicals of a Jewish nature, and I didn't look too closely at any of them. I didn't figure that, musically I would really find them interesting or anything, but there were a bunch of them for whatever reason. They obviously all came from the same person. I could only assume of Jewish persuasion. Here's a record called The Complete Tom Paxton, recorded live. I don't know what, if anything, is complete about it, but aside from this like paper that's missing on the cover, which is, there must have been like a sticker or a piece of tape on there or something that got ripped off. Other than that, the cover's in pretty good condition, and the records are in really nice condition, and also have the white label, which say radio station copy, so it's a white label promo. I think this probably would be sellable if I wanted to sell it. It's pretty clean. Very few small scratches. This is on Elektra, copyright 1970. I don't think I really know anything about Tom Paxton. This obviously has to be some sort of folk thing, judging by the man standing alone with acoustic guitar on the back cover. 13 minutes and we still got... Oh, God. Okay. The Fifth Dimension Greatest Hits record on... What label was this on? I don't remember. But it is in a Unipack. If you don't know what a Unipack is, it's like a gatefold cover, but this is just a panel. It's not a sleeve. And the record slides out from a pouch that's inside. I kind of hate these, but it's kind of rare to find them in like good condition, because I think most people, when they had records in Unipacks, would open them and just like fold the cover all the way around the back. And so the seam would get split, and sometimes the cover would fall off and stuff like that. So it's nice to find like a fairly like vintage Unipack cover that's in like pretty good condition. I didn't even look at the record because it's in this pouch, and I hate taking them out, but it looks pretty nice. It's on Soul City Records, which was, I think, a division of, it says here, Liberty/United Artists. So this is a thing with some songs on it, I guess. I don't know. It might be good. I don't know. None of this is important. Oh, I like this slightly psychedelic back cover. And again, for $1, this is very nice condition. Very nice. Could totally be resellable. Again, I don't know. The Carpenters, for some reason, I bought this record, which is in the shrink, not sealed, but open in the shrink and falling off. And the back cover is missing some paper here for some reason. I don't know if someone had a vendetta against Richard Carpenter's haircut or something, but this is gone for some reason. The shrink is totally falling off. It's actually a reissue of, I think, the first Carpenters record. Oh, it's called Ticket to Ride, and it has a cover of the Beatles song of that name, which is kind of cute. I don't have a lot of interest in the Carpenters, but this is on A&M, although for some reason it's got a Columbia inner sleeve. And judging from the typeface, early mid-70s, so probably an original press of this record. It's in really nice condition. Hey, if anybody wants this thing, it's in really good condition despite this paper missing on the back cover. You know, whatever. Here's the thing I'll probably listen to once and never give a shit about, and I don't know if I can sell it or not. It's a 12-inch single of Depeche Mode's Enjoy the Silence with 3 versions of the title track and 1 other song. I think the record is fairly dirty. Yeah, it's not in great condition. It's in, like, slightly better condition than the Valley Girl single, which made me cringe. I don't think this would be resellable, and I'm not really into Depeche Mode or, like, dance 12-inch singles, really, or anything, but it's $1, and that's a thing. I don't know, it's a funny thing to find at Goodwill, a fucking Depeche Mode 12-inch. Here's another alluring cover with a very alluring young lady on it. This is a record by Charlie Bird called Aquarius, which has, you know, a bunch of covers on it. Aquarius / Let the Sunshine In from Hair, which is also on that Fifth Dimension record that I just showed you. My Way, Time of the Season by the Zombies. It also has 2 Beatles covers on it, Julia and While My Guitar Gently Weeps, both originally from the White Album. This is jazz, right, I think? Charlie Bird. It was produced by Teo Macero, who worked with Miles Davis. It has Bernard Purdy on drums and Herbie Hancock on all keyboard instruments. And I do believe this was in pretty good condition. And it is in pretty good condition. Also from the 60s. It has the 360 Sound Columbia label. And that's about all I have to say about this. I'll listen to it probably 2 years from now because I have like at least 75 records right now that I haven't even listened to yet. And I tend to listen to them in chronological order by when I bought them. And right now I'm only up to listening to records that I bought last July, I think. So it's going to be a while before I get to any of these. And some of them I might not even enjoy that much when I finally listen to them. Here's a record. I like to say that a lot because these are records by Maria Moldauer. It has her hit single, Midnight at the Oasis, on it. This was on Reprise. And let's have a peek at the label. Definitely 70s. You know, so it's probably an original press of this. It's in pretty good condition. I don't know who would want this record. The only thing I really know about Maria Moldauer was that she was, I believe, the stepmother of Claire Moldauer from the band Claire and the Reasons. And some of the musicians on this record include Andrew Gold, who I think wrote the theme from the Golden Girls. I think I'm correct about that. Mac Rebenak, also known as Dr. John, is on this record. Jim Keltner, Clarence White from the Byrds, Ry Cooder, David Grisman. And I don't recognize the names of any of these other people. I also don't know any of the other songs on this record, aside from Midnight at the Oasis, which I don't have any particular feelings about. Canton, Ohio's own Enoch Light produced this record on one of his labels, Total Sound. This is a record by Tony Mottola, who is a very well-known session guitarist, who was very active in session work from the late 60s up to, you know, probably in the 80s. I think he only died about 10 years ago. This is a really nice glossy gatefold cover. It's in really nice condition. The record is sort of, it kind of has scratches on it just from taking it in and out of the sleeve, but it's not really like scratched. It's just sort of scuffed a little. This has a bunch of other dudes' tunes on it, like there's some Backrack and David, With a Little Help from My Friends, by the Beatles, obviously, Scarborough Fair, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, and some other songs I don't know, but are obviously covers. This has a whole note on the back of it about the special recording process and computerized lathe cutting system My friend Nick told me about how Enoch Light had a label where he made like audiophile type records, not for audiophile prices in like the 60s, and this is seems like it would be resellable to the right person who is interested in Enoch Light related things or Tony Mottola related things. I imagine it's just sort of like smooth instrumental jams. I don't know how much I'll enjoy it, but maybe in about 2-3 years I'll actually listen to it. The soundtrack record from a film called Round Midnight, about which I know nothing, but this has a Quonset hut price tag on it, which definitely takes it from Northeast Ohio. You may not know anything about the Quonset hut chain if you're not from here. On the label it says 101088, which could be presumed to mean October 10th, 88, which is when this was inventoried or labeled or whatever. It originally cost $7.99 at Quonset hut. It cost me $1. It's in the shrink. It is not sealed. But I think I just said this. It has a bunch of jazz dudes on it. Chet Baker, Dexter Gordon, Herbie Hancock, Freddie Hubbard, Bobby McFerrin, John McLaughlin, Tony Williams on drums. And this is a soundtrack to a film I've never seen with a bunch of jazz tunes on it that were written by I don't know whom. This is obviously from the 80s, judging by various things, including the fact that it says 1986 on the Columbia label and the typeface would have put it in the mid to late 80s for me. Anyway, there's that. I'll save this one and show it to you later. Them Changes by Buddy Miles, who you might know from being part of Jimi Hendrix's Band of Gypsies. And I think he was in the Electric Flag. This has the song Them Changes, as well as a cover by Neil Young's Down by the River. I don't know any of these other songs. It's on Mercury. The gatefold cover's in really nice condition. Here's a weird picture in here of Buddy Miles eating a cookie and making a weird face. I'll try to show this to you. Can you see that? That's, I don't know. It's right above my hairy mouth. That was a weird thing to say. Anyway, this was on Mercury, and I think, it also has Rebecca McCrae's name written on the cover. It looks a little bit scuffed just from taking it in and out of the sleeve. No real scratches. Could be sellable. Who cares? Oh, this one has a really old Camelot Music price tag on it for $1.49. This is Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. I think the record is called Lost in the Ozone. It's on some label, I'm sure. Oh, Paramount. It also has Rebecca McCrae's name written on the cover. I wish she hadn't done that. It's still in the shrink, but not sealed. It has a cover which states it includes the hit single Hot Rod Lincoln. I thought they must have done a cover of that, because I thought that song was much older than this record is, which is from, I don't know, the 70s sometime. It's also got a cover of 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran on it, and some other songs I don't know. Okay. This is something I don't know anything about. Somebody might want it. It's in really nice condition. Obviously, and not judging just from the names on the covers, but many of these had to have come from the same person's collection. I can't believe how long this fucking video is. Why am I even doing this? But I've got 5 records left. Let's get through these. More of the Monkees on Cold Gems. Not the first copy of this I've owned. I had another one, which is kind of junk. This one looks really nice. A few scratches. Cost me $1. And it's, for some reason, got this big blue ink mark on the back cover. I don't know what that's about. But it has I'm a Believer on it, and Mary Mary, and Auntie Griselda, and I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. Crammed with hits, obviously. There's the thing, whatever. Original Broadway cast recording of Promises, Promises, with music by Bacharach and lyrics by David, obviously, starring Jerry Orbach of Law and Order fame. I wonder if he said the line anywhere on this record. I doubt it, and that was a dumb joke for any of you Law and Order fans out there. There is no inner sleeve in this record, and so I feel like every time I take the record in and out of the cover, it's going to get scratched. It's on United Artists, obviously original pressing, judging by the label. It's in really nice condition because all these are, and that's a thing with the musical, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Here's a record by Dick Gregory, the African-American comedian from the late 60s who gave up comedy to focus his life on civil rights activism and such like. This is called Dick Gregory On, and it lists a bunch of topics, and is from 1969. The glue has given out on the top of this package here. It's on, oh God, and the more that I open this cover, I'm ripping it even more. I like comedy records. I don't know if this is even, I'm going to assume this isn't even comedy, just talking about things that were important at the time. I don't know if by 1969 he had already given up on comedy or not. No, he didn't. Because I have another record of his where he talks about Nixon's resignation and all that stuff. And it was after that record that he quit. So this is not his last record, but it is old, and it's in really nice condition. And I feel like both of these sides are too long to be on vinyl, and so we'll see how that works out. And I can't even fit this cover back. Can't even fit the record back in the cover right now, so I'm just going to lay it over here with the record laying on top of it. This record is from 1979. It's by Bootsy's Rubber Band, Bootsy Collins of Parliament Funkadelic fame. Originally cost $5.99. I couldn't tell you from where. It's in the shrink. This sticker on the cover says, also contains bonus 8-page almost comic coloring book. And I wonder if that's in here. Oh, it looks like it is. So, if anybody's into Bootsy Collins and is interested in a copy of this record, which still has the comic book insert in it and is in shrink, and I can only assume is in really nice condition. Let's not take it out and look at it. Doesn't matter. This record might suck for all I know, or it might be some totally righteous funk jams. No idea. I probably won't listen to it for a long time. But if you're into the P-Funk thing and Bootsy, this cost me $1. If you want it, it's a really nice condition. It has the booklet in it. Oh, God, can we be done with this now? Yes, we can, because this is the last record. I don't know why I decided to save this. It's not really that special, but it was kind of cool to find. This album by the Jefferson Airplane, called After Bathing at Baxter's. And this is actually a mono copy on RCA. Obviously, record companies only made mono records up to a certain point. In the late 60s, I don't know if anybody did mono at all anymore in the early 70s. But this is on mono, so it's obviously an original press. The label looks really nice. The record looks really nice, shiny. Still got some, reflective surface on it. These barely even look like they were played, and they're old as shit. I mean, the late 60s isn't that old, but I mean, it's older than me. And I mean, I don't know. It just seems like these records would have been bought and played. So either these were bought and like rarely ever played, or they belong to like one of the few people in the late 60s who actually took good care of their records. So there was that. Those were those. If you want any of them, if you're interested in those, maybe leave me a comment or something. I'm not really into selling shit, but whatever. Okay, 28 and a half minutes. We have had plenty enough of this. That was way too many records to show you all in one video. Could have broken it up into 2 parts. Don't know why I didn't. But none of this matters. Nobody's really going to watch this anyway. Okay, there's a bunch of shit I bought. I also have from like 6 weeks ago, I still have a pile of records sitting on the floor by my chair that I bought in Defiance, Ohio, that I tried to make a video that I was going to tell you about because some of them were kind of interesting. However, I failed and gave up. But they came from a Goodwill and a place called Joe's Records, which is in a mall in Defiance. Some of them were kind of interesting. I might still tell you about them one day. If you actually care, leave a comment. Let me know if you want more of these or if I should just stop this. We are approaching the half-hour mark, which is way longer than I planned to do this. So we'll just wrap this up. I'm Derek. This was a video about some records. Leave a comment, do a thumbs up thing if you're into videos like this. I don't know why you would be, but I am fixing to click the button that says finish, and we'll be done with this. Goodbye.